For 6 months, I was in a wheelchair. I had to rely on a wheelchair to get from A to B. So when I woke up one night, I couldn't feel anything from the waist down. I try and rationalize things a lot. I try and understand like what's going on before I kind of like bug out. But even if I do bug out, that's not a good idea. 9 times out of 10, if you don't want something, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Once you're in a wheelchair, your level of independence is questioned. Being dependent on someone else is very belittling. In this life, there's things that we don't understand. There's questions that we can't answer. So for you to try and make me answer something like that, it's crazy. The retrospect to think back on everything I've accomplished, everything I've done, like to write my own book, to open my own CIC, to having like a YouTube channel where I inspire people or I travel and I work with different companies and people. It's honestly mind-blowing.
So we spend our lives making plans, planning careers, relationships, holidays, retirement, assuming our bodies will always carry us. But what happens when, just at 23 years old, your body begins telling you a different story? Today's guest was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at an early age, when most people are only just beginning adult life. There were days when he relied on a wheelchair, days filled with uncertainty, questions, fear. But this isn't simply a story about illness. It's about refusing to let a diagnosis become your identity. It's about discovering what hope looks like when tomorrow is uncertain, and asking whether purpose can still flourish even when your body is struggling. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Who was Alex before MS?
Life is just different, you know? You just feel like normal. But what is normal?
What is normal?
What is normal?
For
You know
real.
what I mean?
Yeah, that is very true. But I mean, what was the young Alex? Because I mean, you was a very young guy when you was diagnosed with this.
As you
What
said
was you
earlier on,
doing?
yeah, as you said earlier on, that you just became an adult. You're still learning life. You're still understanding what it's about. You're still trying to find yourself. So at the age of 23, I was at university studying to be a civil engineer at the time.
Okay.
So that was what I would do on a daily basis. And from there as well, I'll try and travel just a little bit, nothing too crazy. And just being a young adult, just enjoying time with friends, family, just doing things that exploring to understand yourself a little bit more, you know?
Of course, of course. And what kind of ambitions did you have in terms of your study? Because I mean, to be a civil engineer, did you have visions of you building, I don't know, skyscrapers, roads?
I wouldn't
What
say
was you?
so. As a civil engineer, what I was doing was learning about bridges, learning about roads, just like you were saying, buildings as well. And my dissertation actually was about renewable energy and sustainable energy within Jamaica. So to help to create some sort of system in order to use their natural resources that they actually have to provide energy within the country, because a lot of people there will suffer with poverty. So how could we get around that and it wouldn't cost them anything? Once you build this system,
Mm,
how would it benefit? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, yeah.
for example, hydroelectricity that can be taken from their rivers, Duns River, or any sort of mountain that has like a high flow of water that will create enough velocity to create enough electricity that could fuel the country. That would be very sustainable and helpful for, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
And
that
your
would,
mind was thinking like this at
yeah,
22 and 23.
yeah. No, I got a first for that one. I got a first. I'm not playing around. I got a
Okay.
first, but that was just something that I wanted to do. Um, it I remember stopping my lecture and I was like, oh, you know, the topics that you chose, am I able to do something else? So
Mm.
they're probably thinking, oh, here we go. Let's hear what we got to say now. And so I just gave him a solid plan of what I wanted to do. It wasn't no like lolly dal thing, like, oh, I don't know. No, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And they was like, yeah, sounds all right with me. And I just got on my way and started writing and typing.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I mean, so during that period as well, would you consider yourself healthy
Yeah,
at
I
that
used to
time?
go to I used to go to the gym. I used to swim. I used to play football. I used to do many different things that was like physical activity. So I used to try and take care of my body as well. I
Mm.
used to eat well. A lot of people think it's just fitness. No, no, no. I used to eat well. So I used to go to Tesco and I used to buy like some big tub of like citrus fruit and pineapple and stuff. And then because I was doing a work placement, I would just eat that throughout the day, lunch, etc., etc.
Mm.
I wasn't driving at the time, so I remember I used to have to walk from the office on lunch break to Tesco, but it was like a good like half an hour walk kind of thing. So it was quite a walk. And I'll never forget one lunchtime. I said to the woman, "Oh, would you like anything from Tesco? Because I was going for my break." She said, "No, no, no, it's fine." And then she got in her car and drove there and came back. And then when I came back in the office, I saw she had like a Tesco bag, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then my manager was like, "Oh yeah, where was you?" He was the one that was cool, and he was like, "Where was you?" I was like, "Oh, I went to Tesco." He was like, "Oh, you should have showed us." It's like we went,
Right.
and I was like, like you knew that I was going and you just did a mad thing. I was like, all right, cool.
Bad mind is called.
Bad mind. But like for me, I just kind of saw who she was. And I'm not gonna like try and pull you off about it. You know what you did.
Mm.
But just move forward. I haven't got time. I didn't have that energy to causing any sort of difficulty yet. The way I saw it, I didn't really want to cause any sort of rifts within the office
Yeah, I get that.
as a young black male, the only black male within
Right.
the office. Yeah, we didn't share the same identity, and from there you understand. But she was from the beginning. She wasn't really that fond of me. I could
Okay.
tell. I could
Okay.
always tell.
Okay.
But
It's just about
again,
feeling.
yeah, 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 yeah. But again, you don't rise to it. It's like, all right, cool. You
Yeah.
just see it for it. All right,
It is
cool.
what it is. Yeah.
And you just don't give him a reason to have something to say to you. And that's where it is. I just used to just go there, do my work, and then my manager would be like, "Oh, we're gonna go Tesco. Do you want to come?" And then I think it used to burn him. Me sitting in the car as well. But
Oh, you actually went because I wouldn't have went. But
no, but
did you? Did you?
say for example, I said yes
Yeah.
because he invited me, not her. And then she'll be like, "Oh yeah, 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 where we going?" And then he would do something like, "Oh, you drive." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And next thing I know, I'm in the back of her car and he's in the front. And I'm just like, okay. But I understand what you're saying. It is what it is, man. It is
Right.
what it is, man.
Okay. I mean, so looking back, were there any early signs that something wasn't right with your
Yeah, yeah,
body?
yeah.
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 You looking back
Yeah.
now.
No, it, I feel like that part of my journey I will never forget. I feel like the turning point in your story we will never forget because it was not challenging, but it was quite confusing because I just didn't know what was going on.
Talk me through it.
So as I said, I used to play football. And I used to be running, playing five aside, six, seven aside, 11 aside, whatever. And eventually it got to a point where I should get too hot. And when I was getting hot, my eyesight started to get blurry. Or
Oh,
I would be running and then I would literally just fall over, just drop on the floor. And then
just like that.
just, yeah. And like the best way to describe it was I'm running and I just feel like I'm just seeping through the ground and I have no control over it. Like my legs just lose strength and I'm just falling as I'm running. It's like one of those comics when they do the thing behind the stairs where I'm sorry, they do the stairs behind the sofa and then
Oh
they'll be
yeah, when the
walking,
person's pretending.
yeah, getting
Yeah.
short and short. Literally, it felt like that, but I'm just losing strength and power as I'm running, and I'm just falling down, and I'm like, what's going on? And psychologically, I'm like, what? So unless I stop myself,
Mm.
it will continue until I fall over. And I'll never forget one time I must have dropped my arm. No, I was supposed to be dropping my arm somewhere, so I was running back to the car. And as I was running back to the car, it was rush hour, and I've fallen, and I'm falling, and I'm falling, and I'm like, no, 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 stay on your feet. And I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling. And like an action film, I stopped, dropped, and rolled, and stood back up like nothing happened. And everyone at the bus stop kind of looked at me blankly, and I looked at them, and I kept on trying to walk, like run off,
Yeah,
walk
yeah,
off, kind
yeah,
of thing,
yeah,
like exit the scene
yeah,
immediately.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And some guy was like, wait, 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 and I turned back like, what? He was like, your keys, but he didn't want me to come nowhere near him,
Mm.
so he just threw them to me, and I've caught them, and I've run back to the car. I've sat down in the car, like, like a child that's just done something, and I looked at my mom and was like, oh, I just fell over. She's like, you fell over? It's like, yeah, I fell over. She was like, and then we laughed. We laughed about it, We just laughed. Because why did you fall over?
This is
You
like
must
you.
have been clumsy, innit?
Mm.
So from there, I feel like the eyesight, the loss of power in the legs, those two combined, it was like, what's going on? I don't really know, but I guess, I don't know, if maybe you're not sleeping enough, anything.
And how long is this going on for until you couldn't ignore it anymore?
Ooh, I would say,
More than a year?
no, no, no. I take my health seriously. I take my health seriously.
Okay, so
So the fact that I'm doing something that I like and I can't do it to the best of my ability was worrying enough. So when I'm playing football and I'm overheating or I'm getting too hot and my eyesight is getting blurry, that's not normal.
mm,
At no point should your eyesight get blurry. So what is going on? And I remember going to the optician because I wore contact lenses for Halloween, and I was like, oh, it must be that. You did this. You sold me these contact lenses. It's your fault. And then he was like, oh, no, 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 no. So he sent me to the optician, and I've gone there, and they've just dilated my eyes, and your pupils are massive like this now.
right.
I can't see anything. I can't see anything. And well, I can see,
But it's
but
blurred.
it's very blurred. So if anybody wants to message you, you need to be able for it to like play out or something. So otherwise, you'll have no understanding or idea what is going on,
Mm.
and this will last for about, I don't know, 3 4 hours. So they always advise you not to drive or not to do anything that will be affected by your driving. So from there, came back with a conclusion that there was some sort of clouding on my lens, and there was some blurry stuff on my optical lens. So I'm like, now I'm even more confused. I'm falling over, I'm getting blurry vision when I'm hot, and now you're saying that I've got clouding on my lens because my optical nerve is inflamed. What does that mean? I'm 23. What does that mean?
Mm.
And from there, I was traveling at the time, so it was a bit difficult for me. But before I knew it, I was having some sort of letters saying that I need to go to the hospital, I need to have an MRI scan, they need to delve deeper, they need to understand what's going on. They didn't really understand. And that led to me having several MRI scans, which led to me being misdiagnosed. They said that I had a cataract, and then they was like, no, you're too young to have a cataract, but if you do, we can't operate because that means they have to remove your artificial lens, and if they have, sorry, they'll have to put an artificial lens on my eye after they remove my actual lens, and I'm too young for
Whoa.
that. So they was like, oh, okay, so what happens now? What do we do now? So we're just going back and forth, and I'm like, this is crazy. Don't know what to do. And then they was like, no, we're gonna give you a lumbar puncture, and this will give us a better understanding of what is going on. So I was like, okay, a lumbar puncture,
What's a lumbar puncture?
lumbar puncture. If you can avoid it and you can get to the conclusion of a diagnosis without it, I would strongly recommend it. If there's an alternative method, I would strongly recommend it. If they are very adamant that you need to get it done, then it consists of you lying in a fetal position on your side, and you curl up into a ball, and they push a needle probably about 5 inches long in the base of your spine, and then they extract the spinal fluid. And from when they extract the spinal fluid, that fluid will give them some sort of understanding of what diagnosis you're currently going through.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what a lumbar puncture is.
yeah,
I don't know if I've heard of it until now, but wow, they say you learn something new every day,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you just taught me
Honestly,
something.
it's the reason why I would recommend, like, if you could find another alternative method, is because it's a very horrible feeling. I wouldn't say it hurts, but it's just very awkward. You are lying on your side, and it feels like the life is being sucked out of your leg. So the side that I was lying on, which was my left side, I remember it. I was just feeling it.
So is it like a syringe that they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
inserting
range.
into your
Yeah,
back,
yeah, yeah. And then the
and it's just one push, one take out,
yeah,
and
didn't take long.
no, right?
Didn't take long at all. But I feel like that process on a whole, it was quite excruciating in the sense of the impact that it played after.
Of
I
course.
felt unbalanced. I felt, yeah, uneasy, and they was like, "Oh, do you want to sit down for a bit?" And I was like, "Yes, definitely."
So what was so once they extracted this fluid from your back, they're now taking it to the lab for tests to be
Yeah,
able to tell you what they found. What what was that like?
just waiting. As soon as that happened, it was just waiting. I was just waiting. I'm just
Same day?
no, not the same day.
Weeks later?
Yeah, weeks. And from there, I was waiting, and they called me in for another appointment, and the doctor sat me down, and she looked at me, and she said, "Oh, how old are you?" I said 23, and she was like, "Oh, um, I don't know how this has happened, but you have multiple sclerosis." So I've kind of looked at her confused, like, "What's that?
Hmm.
What is that?" Because other than conditions like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, we have not much knowledge of the different conditions around today unless we have it or someone close by is affected by
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
or we saw it in a film. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So,
yeah.
other than that,
There's that great saying, isn't it, that we don't really know about something until it happens to us.
exactly.
And
So, I was just like, okay, I've only had like the flu. So, how do we just get rid of this?
mm,
And she's like, oh, no, 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 no. I was like, what do you mean, no? And she just handed over like a wad of leaflets, and I've kind of taken them from her, and I was like, oh, okay. Not really understanding where to start because,
you with your mum at the time, or you're on
sorry?
your own? When you're receiving this information,
Yeah.
who are you with?
No, I was by myself.
Who's by yourself?
Yeah.
That must have been a lot, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot to take in and to, again, to retain all that information all at once. It was overwhelming.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but yeah, what type of emotions was hitting you?
I feel like the best word to describe it, well, term I should say, was a state of confusion
Right.
because I felt fine and there were bad days, but to say that I'm ill with something that was life altering, I didn't feel like I didn't know what that was supposed to feel like.
Mm.
You know, until you experience something that is life changing, you don't understand how your life will change. And at that moment of time, again, I didn't feel anything within me other than the small times where my ability to mobilize was affected. There was no hardship,
Mm.
nothing. So it was a bit mind boggling.
Wow.
She was confused. She said to me, "Oh, is there anyone in the family that has MS?" I was like, "No." And then my dad asked the same thing, and I was like, Dad, are you not family? So honestly, it was a very
Because
confusing.
everybody was in shock, it seems like.
Everyone was in shock. People still are in shock, but
So nobody in your family, there's no family history of MS.
no one.
No one. Wow. So what misconceptions did you have about MS?
I
If you
feel
had
like I
any?
watched a film about it once when I was much younger. It was about some athlete, and I think his name was Ricky or something. Not
Mm.
Boys in the Hood, but
Mm.
um, it the guy, he was really motivational. He was really inspirational, and he helped a little boy. And then I think he got hit with MS, and then he was in a wheelchair, and he started to give up. And the boy was trying to tell him to like keep on going, to keep on continuing, and then eventually he died. But needless to say, without giving too much away, it's just this is where it's your understanding of mindset. It's your understanding of what type of system are you going to put into place in order for you to get from A to B.
So if you don't mind, Alex, can we tell the listeners right now exactly what multiple sclerosis is?
Yeah,
What is
sure.
it?
Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease. Now, it affects your immune system and it's you fighting yourself. So, your immune system's myelin sheath has been, well, is getting removed or being damaged piece by piece. And as this is happening, it's affecting the nerves that are within your body, the nerves that are signaling between your brain and the different parts of your various organs and body parts. So, for example, it might affect one person in one way, and it can affect people in other ways. So it's
Right.
not one shoes fits all.
Okay.
Everyone is slightly different. Where some people it's like their hands or their arm or anything like that. It's not the same across the board.
Right. And so what type of was your
So
diagnosis?
mine will affect like my mobility. So when I woke up one night, well, early one morning,
Mm.
I couldn't feel anything from the waist down.
Really?
Couldn't feel nothing.
As in you got you got off your bed to get up,
Yeah,
but you couldn't feel your legs?
nothing.
You could not feel
Nothing.
nothing.
Nothing. I swear. So
I
that
don't know. Hey, I don't know
hey, yeah,
what
hey.
I would.
I don't know.
How did you react?
And I feel like with me, I try and rationalize things a lot. I try and understand like what's going on before I kind of like bug out.
Right.
But even if I do bug out, that's not a good idea because that's where things go left. You start moving erratic, and everything just goes above your head, and you won't really recollect what's going on, and that's when the situation will just slip between your fingers.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's always better to kind of stay calm, and in that calm kind of state of mind, things can be controlled. You're starting to think more collectively and understand, okay, so maybe this, maybe that. But the way it will unfold is I've woken up in the middle of the night because I need to go to the toilet. As I've woken up, I'm lying on my back and you kind of sit up. But as I try to sit up, the muscles going across my hip flexors, my lower stomach, etc., it hasn't engaged and I can't feel it. So I'm like, what's going on? Okay. So I've kind of like hoisted myself up in the bed, sat up,
Yeah.
swung my legs out of bed, and I stood on my own 2 feet. And the moment I put pressure on my feet, I just dropped flat on my face.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask, like, even though you said you couldn't feel from the waist down, was you able to stand?
That I feel like with the momentum of helping myself up, yes, I could stand. But the moment I had to sustain my own weight by
Yeah.
myself, it was not happening. And I
Right.
fell flat on my face. And as I fell flat on my face, it was just like my body went into complete shutdown mode. Like window
Mm.
done. And I was like, whoa. And I've kind of lied and looked on the ceiling. And I was like, wow, so this is what multiple sclerosis is. And then like all sorts of ideas and thoughts were flashing through my mind. But then remembered the reason why I woke up is because I need to go to the toilet. And all of a sudden, everything started rushing back to me. And I was like, oh no, 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 I need to go. So now I found myself army crawling across the ground, trying to get to the toilet.
Right.
And Wow.
That was a battle in itself, right?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely.
Alex, that's a lot for a young man who presumably had his whole life ahead of him, you know, with so much ambition and drive and plans, to then all of a sudden have your world turned upside down. Pardon the pun. Um, wow. So when did you become wheelchair bound, or
So,
not? If not bound, but
yeah, no, I was for 6 months. I was in a
for
wheelchair.
6 months
I
you
had
had to
to,
use a
I
wheelchair.
had to rely on a wheelchair to get from A to B. Otherwise, it was not happening. And gradually, I was able to build up my strength, my endurance. I was starting to work on the muscles again to kind of rehabilitate them to try and bring back the uh, memory within the muscle and just like to regain some sort of control again. And I feel like that was a very like daunting, draining kind of situation because to live a life that you wasn't born into is like what's going on?
Mm,
Do you know what I mean? So
mm.
that's yeah.
Has this affected your studies and your work life now? Well, of course it's affected, but I mean, are you continuing to do these things at the time now, or have you just
Yeah, no, I was
stopped?
traveling at the time, so it
You
didn't really bother me too much. It
okay?
didn't really bother me too much. But what was bothering me is the fact that what I was doing and where I wanted to go, it was about to change drastically because being a civil engineer would require you to be sitting at a desk for hours on end.
Mm,
How would you stay fit? How would you stay active? How would you stay moving? Like, where's your livelihood going to go from there? And that's what it's about. Like, if you don't have no livelihood, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. You won't be able to spend it. You won't be able to enjoy it. So that's where I had to kind of make that conscious decision to say, yo, if I'm gonna, how is this gonna make sense? How is this just gonna get me to where I need to be, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And I had to then kind of think about it. And I was like, you know what? This isn't really gonna work. I need to do something that will allow me to be active. And that's where I kind of said, you know what? Personal training. I can do fitness. I've done fitness. It's not a problem. I've trained all of my life.
Great mindset, brother.
So it's just like turning pain into purpose and really understand if you want something bad enough, you're gonna have to make it fit your purpose. You're gonna have
Mm,
to make it into your lifestyle.
mm,
And for me, that's what it was about. I became a personal trainer to help other people whilst helping myself.
mm.
So by me having to get down and show someone 10 press up, it's gonna help me.
Yeah,
I'm exercising. I'm staying moving,
yeah.
you know?
They,
Like
they
pushing myself.
they say in life, you help someone else, you help yourself.
Do you
True
get what I
story,
mean?
isn't it? I think we've got to pause here. Oh, thank you. This is great, my man. Yeah, yeah. Wow. I think this one lasts a bit more. Yeah, a bit more win. But what was you I mean you're taking a picture.
The venue. Um, was that in East London? Was it East? I don't know where it is. Oh, it was the British film or something,
What, the
something like
BFI?
that. Yeah.
Not the Bill. Okay. So at this time you hadn't even known him really. You just yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to teach yourself to.
Yeah.
And like you see the film, like he falls down, gets back up in the gym, barely walk on the treadmill.
Yeah, we're good to go again. No, we're gonna get that. I'm gonna get this from him right now. Are we? Count me in. 3 second in. Yeah. Start going again. Okay. So, following you now having to use a wheelchair to kind of get around, what was the hardest part for you emotionally?
The hardest part of being in a wheelchair is to understand that this is just a new walk of life. This is something that you're going to have to adapt to, something that you're going to have to understand, and later on accept if the changes that you want don't happen.
Mm.
How are you going to change where you are? What are you going to do to change where you are?
Mm.
Because 9 times out of 10, if you don't want something, it's not going to happen.
True
It's
story.
not going to happen. So if you didn't want to come here today, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, sometimes it's a bit more complex where other elements have to be put into play or, brought together in order to get the end result. But it all starts with what is put into the project or the cause.
Absolutely. I mean, and now your identity is being questioned too, right? Because from going from someone who was fit, healthy, presumably, right? Young, ambitious, basically got everything going for you. Now you're not as strong as you once was.
I'll be honest with you. Once you're in a wheelchair, your your level of independence is questioned. And as a person, as a man, being dependent on someone else is very belittling, very emasculating. And from that alone, that kind of alters your mentality and your mindset
Mm.
because you don't want to think badly of yourself. You don't want to talk badly of yourself or
Sure.
anything like that. But because you can't do things that you once were able to do, or this is think of, let's say, I don't know, your parents or your grandparents or anything like that, where they might start getting frustrated with themselves because they can't do certain things that they used to be able to do 20 years ago. They're in a bad mood, but you don't even understand why.
Mm.
This is why. That it really takes a mental toll on your mindset and your headspace, you know what I mean? So
I do.
I thought like, when I was in a wheelchair, yeah, for sure. It was a dark place.
Did you ever feel like people saw your condition before they saw you?
No, you know what? I never really experienced any sort of injustice in that sense of people feeling sorry for me or like treating me differently per se, because I've always had this kind of mentality where it's cool, man.
That's good.
It's cool, man.
That's good to hear
You
that.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and I always say to people like, don't treat me differently. Don't be doing that mad stuff. We're good.
Yeah.
If I need your help, I'll let you know.
I like
If
that.
if I'm going through some sort of hardship, I'll let you know. And I will make the necessary adaptations.
Mm.
And I will tell you
If I
how
need.
you can assist me.
Mm.
Anything outside of that, you're aggravating the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're trying to help the situation. Because mentally, I'm not in the right space to take on board certain things that I might not be able to comprehend or put into play. Just wait for me to kind of say, oh, this will help or that will help.
Mm.
If somebody has like, I don't know, a broken ligament or something and they're lying, you don't just grab them and try and pick them up off the front. You say, where's hurting?
Mm.
You need to ask a necessary question in order to understand where they are so you can help them accordingly. You can't make that assumption.
Yeah.
So I always say to people that if you're dealing with someone who is affected with an autoimmune disease or anything like that, be patient, be empathetic, ask the correct question in order to get the answer that will assist them in the best possible manner.
Yeah.
So I have a friend and he suffers from uh, he's on the scale, and that from there he will kind of see things in a different way to how we see things. And that's fine. I have to accept him for who he is. Otherwise, I will drive myself insane. And we were going to complete an activity, and I was saying to him, "Listen, I know how I would want to be motivated. I know how I would want you to encourage me throughout. But how would you like to be motivated?
Yeah.
What would benefit you in order for you to get through this? Do you want me to be shouting and cheering you on? Because that would help me."
Yeah.
He said, "No, don't say anything." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But then I kind of read into what he was saying. I was like, maybe I could assist you by telling you how much time has gone, because this activity is based on the timing. So I was like, maybe it would help if I told you like 15 minutes have passed and half an hour has passed. And he agreed to that.
Okay.
But for me, the reason why I'm telling you this is, rather than putting my ideology on it of what I think might be beneficial to him, I asked him what he would find beneficial, and I made the necessary suggestion in order to get to where we were. So
Brilliant.
there wasn't any sort of misunderstanding, there wasn't any sort of confusion, because at the end of the day, I don't want to frustrate you in any shape or form. I don't want to cause any sort of stress and basically deter you of your path or hinder your progress throughout the course of this activity. So it's always very important to be patient with people and have a greater understanding of it.
That is shows how emotionally intelligent you are. But not everybody has the same level of intelligence
Yeah.
when it comes to thinking that way. Because if I just share very quickly an experience that I've lived, um, not from a illness or sick point of view, but I spent some time in prison when I was very young. And when I came out, I remember my brother said to me, because I came from a very good Christian, upstanding family. And my brother said to me, don't cross the road when you see mum's friends. And I thought I knew what that meant at the time or what he meant to me, but maybe I didn't until like years later. Don't cross the road, see mum's friend. Okay, that's out of embarrassment. Okay. All right, bro. No, I won't cross the road. Right? That's kind of how I took it. And as years went by, um, God bless may his soul rest in peace now. He's no longer here with us. But those words helped me because I think what my brother was saying to me at the time was keep your head high. Don't feel no way about what's happened. It's in the past. And whatever mum's friends may think, you know who you are. So well, that's what I took from it. And as I'm listening to you, I'm hearing a similar connotation of, other people may have a trajectory about me because I'm in a wheelchair right now,
Yeah.
or because I can't run like I used to. But guys, I'm still Alex,
Yeah.
and Alex up here is still very with it. So,
Yeah.
so you guys need to know that,
Yeah. Take time,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Furthermore, what did your dependency teach you?
I feel like as a race, we have been taught to adapt. A lot of the time, the doors have been closed. A lot of the time, opportunities have been taken away from us. So rather than give up, we've just found or invented new ways to overcome the trials and tribulations or the challenges. And I feel like that has probably accelerated my personal development in that respect.
Amazing. And I mean, you're human, right? So this next question is, I'm sure you'll forgive me for asking it, because were there moments that you wanted to give up?
Certain days I want to give up every day. Like certain times I want to give up.
We don't need a diagnosis to feel that way, do we? None of us do.
It's
There are days when we're like, boy,
a lot goes on in people's lives. It don't even need to be on a medical basis. It don't even need to be that whatever you're experiencing, obviously everyone can handle a lot more, a lot less than other people. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes it just becomes hard. And to be honest with you, until you're no longer conscious, you have to continue. So at that point there, you're gonna cry.
Mm.
What are you gonna do? I don't understand. What are you gonna do?
yeah, it's sink
Like
or swim, isn't it?
you have to continue.
Yeah.
So rather than sitting down moping, yeah, sitting in the trenches, because it's gonna get real dark. Sometimes it's horrible. But how are you gonna get out of there? Because you need to continue. There,
And, sorry, go on.
there's no way out otherwise. Because unfortunately, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you.
Mm. Are you a man of faith?
Yeah,
Yeah. At this point of your life, are you asking God questions like why and
I
why
asked,
me?
I asked why all the time, but there's always a reason for something. You know, whether things work out, whether things don't work out, whether you have to take the long way around. Like, there's always a reason why. It might be stronger than, oh, because you were late, let's say, as to why you missed that train. But there's another reason of why, let's say, your time management wasn't up to par that day.
Mm.
Anything
Yeah.
along that line. It, there's always a greater understanding behind it all. And that you might not understand today or next week. You might find out eventually. You might never know, but at the same time, you just have to find peace with the whole situation. Because sitting down, dwelling, and trying to harbor up feelings about it, it's not going to get you nowhere. Nowhere.
You speak so gracefully, brother.
Bro.
Have you always been this way?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Wow. If only everybody could think like this.
No, there'll be too much mishap in this world.
Yeah, you got that right, for real. But I mean, you know, your body stopping cooperating is one thing, but keeping your mind moving is another. And
That's what they say about old people as well. Like when they wake up early because they want to have purpose. Everybody wants to have purpose. And I feel like once you don't have a purpose or you don't have something going on in your life, that's what stops you. And I believe like when I first one of my biggest project was getting on the roads, learning to drive, attaining a vehicle, getting insurance, all of these different things. And I feel like once I got the car, once I had passed my driving test, I got the insurance, I literally sat down in the car and I thought, what now? I've done it all.
yeah,
Everything, every little last piece of energy that I've had, I put into like each phase of this project. And now I'm here.
yeah.
What do I do?
What now?
Because I spent, I don't know, 3 to 6 months learning how to drive. I spent X amount of time saving, working back to back crazy hours. I've done security before. I've done working in a project house for people who need assisted living. All of these different things I've been doing back to back shifts, etc., just to try and accumulate enough fun to do this and make it happen. And now I'm here. All I have to do is sustain this vehicle and make sure that it's drivable, roadworthy, insured, and it's fine. What do I do now? I need purpose. And I feel at that current moment of time, that's where like, I felt low again. I felt lost. So I've always understood that within life, you need to have some sort of purpose. Always.
100%. 100%. Otherwise, what's the point of living, right? But some people,
You know what? The people that don't want to, and they just wake up every day and they're la 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 la. Like, they're- what a life!
what a life.
What a life!
What a life. So moving on slightly to your mindset, your movement and recovery. When did things begin to change?
Would you say before the diagnosis or after?
No, so this is, you're in a wheelchair.
In a
You've
wheelchair, yeah.
been living like this now for I don't know how long, number of months, number of years.
Yeah, no, months. It was months. I was in a wheelchair for 6 months, and from there, I kind of had to understand. Okay, cool. The body's a bit different. The body's not really playing fair, and we're just gonna have to go back to the basics, go back to the fundamentals, and build up brick by brick. Rome weren't built in a day.
And this is what you're
And
telling yourself. This is
yeah,
not physio at the hospital or
forget physio. Physio, he was telling me some exercises that I was obviously able to surpass by myself from a fitness background. I was kind of able to understand in order for me to be able to mobilize, I need to be able to build my core. And then from there, I need to understand the muscles around that that are being affected and how I'm going to build up from there. So where it was almost limited
Mm.
or even hindering my progress because the rate that I could basically develop at, he wasn't moving at that same speed. And from there, it was becoming very frustrating for me because why am I having to wait now when I feel like my health is at risk?
yeah.
My health is at risk, and I'm not able to do the thing that I used to be able to do. And I want to be able to do the things that I used to be able to do. And I'm only 23, turning 24. Life is ticking, and you're just doing your job.
Yeah.
This is just a job to you. But for me, this is what I call life. I know that sounds like city highs, but still,
No,
it's the
but
truth. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth.
absolutely, yeah.
And from there, I was just like, what are we gonna do? So back to basic, going to the gym. Yeah, it's crazy. I used to go to a wheelchair in the gym. I used to go to the wheelchair in the gym, and then as
Or
soon
you
as
mean you used to go to the gym in the wheelchair?
sorry,
I know
yeah,
what you meant. I know
I
what you
used to
meant.
go to the I used to go to
Just
the
making
gym
sure
in
the
a
listeners
wheelchair.
knew and understood this is what you meant.
And then yeah, I remember it got to a point where I was becoming more confident and my ability to walk was improving. So long distances I couldn't do,
Okay.
respectfully. But when I got there,
Mm.
I used to just park up the wheelchair and jump out and then see what I'm doing. And people be like, and I'm just like, yeah, 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 yeah. It's
I'm
different.
okay. I'm okay, everyone.
I'm
This is
okay, man.
yeah,
If I need your help, I'll call for your
yeah.
assistance. Until then, it's you focus on your tasks and I'll focus on mine.
Hey man, I can't stop being in awe over you right now, and the type of mindset that you have. Trust me, brother, it's not one that's popular,
Yeah.
and it like I said, it takes a certain type of person to have that type of mentality that you have, brother. Um, so how important? Well, we know what exercise does anyway for anybody, wheelchair bound or not. Um, it obviously played an important role in your recovery. How important was nutrition now for you? What was your? I mean, you've always said that you've been a clean eater, but did you have days where you lapsed and
Like
you wanted
it,
that greasy burger or
no, 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 no,
no?
no. So literally, when I was in that phase of going into a wheelchair, a lot of my friends around me were doing research and they're trying to come to a better understanding of the condition. So I was really thankful for the people that I was around because not only was they trying to help me, they were also trying to understand as well. They went out and delved deeper to kind of understand what could potentially help me.
Right.
And one of the things that one of my friends came back with was a documentary called What the Health.
Okay.
And within that documentary, it was saying that following a plant-based diet would help autoimmune diseases, and it would actually improve a lot of the different conditions that are around heart disease, as I mentioned earlier, cancer, etc., etc. So as you have seen on the news, there's a lot of products that are actually on the market that have carcinogenic properties within the food, and that is obviously that causes cancer.
Yeah.
Or, for example, where we're consuming micro nano size plastic and different things like that, or even the chemicals that are within like the very water that we consume, even like mercury intake, etc., etc. All of these different things that, like when you really delve in deep about it, it's crazy what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually going on around us, and we are just so oblivious to it all.
Yeah.
Even something so small, and I have this like not a debate, but this conversation with so many people that once you know certain things, you can't unknow it,
Yeah.
and
It's very
certain
hard
time,
to.
you're just choosing your evil all the time.
Yeah.
So, for example, oh, I'm a bit hungry. Oh, yeah, you can go downstairs and use the microwave. Microwave. That means that I'm heating up my food with gamma rays. That is also carcinogenic. Oh, how did you bring your food here? Did you have a glass container? No, I had a plastic container. Okay, so again, heating up food within a plastic container. So I've listed two different things that are supposed to be convenient for us, but it's also just damaging our health at the same time. Or let's say I'm a bit thirsty, so I bought a bottle of water from the store, but on the way here it's a warm day, so the plastic has been out in the sun all day.
Yeah.
When plastic is heated, it releases chemicals. Again, so there's many different things that are going on that we're just so oblivious to, and it's just like wow, even the clothes that you're wearing.
Yeah.
By wearing clothes that have like polyester within it, it releases certain static fibers, and it releases a certain frequency that doesn't really go in harmony with your body. This so honestly,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
frustrating
And the list can go on, right? Like
for days.
yeah, for days.
For days.
Yeah.
And it's just like understanding what you're putting on your body, what you're consuming, what you're like even being more aware to, or even focusing your time to. But just going back to what your original question was, is that yeah, nutrition from that point on, I had to learn so much different stuff and basically take different steps in order to be where I am today, and incorporating a plant-based diet was one of them.
I mean, again, an amazing outlook, of course, again, because depending on where your mind is at during that time, you could have gone the complete opposite and just said,
Yeah.
I want to fill my what they call it again when you want the donuts and the sugar rush and there's a
What
word for it. A scientific.
endorphins or
Is that filling my endorphins?
what you release?
Basically, when you want to eat, you just want to eat crap
Oh,
because it satisfies you.
yeah.
It's
It does
yeah,
release endorphin. The sugar,
yeah. You're hitting all of those whatever it is, the neurons that will make you high for
yeah,
now,
yeah.
right?
It's endorphins. It's like that feel good hormone. within inside.
That feel good
Yeah,
factor. Because some people are depressed or down,
yeah,
that's what they potentially draw
yeah.
to. So I'm commending you that during that period, your mind didn't go there.
Yeah, no,
Your mind
thank
went the opposite way and said, "No, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to do
you.
this."
With that, I feel like you're not solving the issue. You're just throwing a blanket over it. But the blanket is not helping you because eventually, in the dark, you're going to trip over that blanket again.
Mm.
You're not creating a solution. Just like when people clean their house, rather than cleaning the mess, sometimes people just move the mess from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And then they'll be like, yeah. Just wash that corner over there. And they're like, are you not going to put it away? Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. No, it's not all right over there. So, like, really addressing the problem and just taking it head on. That's what my friend he taught me. He just said, in situation, take the situation on head on.
Is that how you stay disciplined?
Yeah, because
Hitting a
if you
situation
don't deal
head
with
on?
it, you're going to keep on reliving the situation day after day.
100%.
And it's just going to keep on replaying in your mind. And wherever it takes you, I don't know where it's going to take you. Could take you anywhere, depending on who you are.
Depends on who you are and who you say you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? What would you say to someone with MS whose experience looks very different from yours?
Just be patient with yourself. Just be patient with yourself and try and find what works well for you.
Now, just moving on, because I could talk to you about this for days, and I feel like you could educate me for one, but just your attitude is so winning, and I like speaking to winners. Where was God during your diagnosis?
Where would God?
Where was God? I want to hear from you. Where was God?
Guidance. They're providing me guidance, keeping me grounded, keeping me humble, understanding that there's there's a reason for everything. There's a purpose for everyone. And until that comes to light and you have a greater understanding of that, let go and let God. You know, that's
Amen.
it, man.
Amen. So did you was your did your faith waver at any point or
No, it's just
completely
I
stay?
just feel like obviously just trying to find out, with religion, I feel like it's a perspective of man from each different region of this world. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Sikh, etc., etc. It's a perspective from their land. That's it.
Mhm.
And whichever resonates with you more is what people normally follow or people are forced into or depending on their environment, etc.,
Mhm.
etc. But to waver, no. I always believe in God.
But what would you say to the person that says, if God is supposed to be loving and caring, why would he give you that and you worship him? Why would he
Uh,
give you MS? Why would he let that little baby be born with
Listen,
MS?
in this life, there's things that we don't understand. There's questions that we can't answer. So for you to try and make me answer something like that, it's crazy. It's crazy.
What would you say to someone who's just received a life-changing diagnosis?
To do as much research and to gain a better understanding of the condition, so then you understand exactly where you are, and then you can kind of work out where you want to be and bridge the gap between the two.
It's good, man. And if your 23-year-old self could see the man sitting here today, what do you think he'd say?
You'll be proud. You'll be proud. Like sometimes when I just, in a retrospect, to think back on everything I've accomplished, everything I've done, like to write my own book, to open my own CIC, to having like a YouTube channel where I inspire people or I travel and I work with different companies and people. It's just honestly mind blowing.
Amazing.
Mind
Amazing.
blowing.
Alex Dean, where can people find you on socials
Yeah,
and
people can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, WOK WORKS on Instagram, without the dot on TikTok and YouTube. But it's always good vibes, man.
absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. And
Thanks for inviting
I'm
me.
apologizing to you that we've had to cut it short here.
No
There's never
worries.
enough time. To be honest, there's never enough
There's
time when I'm,
never enough time to have good
to have this
conversations, man.
conversation because these conversations are so deep. They're heartfelt. They're lived experiences and their testimonies. And I feel like God has given us this platform, not this podcast, but when I say this platform, the life that He's purposed us to live is to glorify His goodness in this broken world. And we're going to experience broken things that unfortunately will happen to sometimes people we know and sometimes ourselves. But the testimony is always to glorify the goodness of God. That's my own lived experience. And listening to you, I've resonated with a lot of things you've spoken about here, particularly your mindset, which is I, I I have no words.